Welcome, everybody. We're so excited to be here, and there's a lot of us trying to celebrate this wonderful ebook that Ankie has put together for us. And as you know, she is our guest for today. And I wanted to say a couple of words about this project that we have been working on since, I believe, last year. It has taken us a long time to put all of these pages together, and Anki being such a prolific artist, it was just pages and pages and pages of magical doll art that you will be amazed about. Also, Anki will be talking about her ebook and her journey as an artist and where she started and where she will be going next. So we are not going to wait, and I'm not going to keep jabbering on because I want to bring her up. And if you have any comments, please leave them below and I'll be glad to answer them, or Anki can answer some questions if you have any of those. And here is, let me just take a look real quick. I'm trying to take care of all of the functions on the side to make sure that you enjoy this interview. Hi, Anki.
Hi, Adele. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice seeing you again. And it's just been a wonderful experience working with you on this ebook project. And like I mentioned before, we started this last year, and it was amazing to see all of your beautiful art rolling in, and me trying to figure out how was I going to present all of these magical pieces that you have created over the years. So I know that everybody wants to hear a little bit about yourself and where you are right now and where you've been and where are you going.
Yeah, it's really a long time ago I made my first doll. Very, very long time ago. And I think that it is amazing that we live in a world where this is possible. I remember that when I got to learn about the magazines about doll making in the United States, that I went with my doll to a photographer, and I had to have him make pictures of the dolls, send them in an envelope to the magazines, hoping that they would publish my dolls. And look what we are doing now. We can talk with all people who love dolls all over the world. So it's
It's
amazing.
amazing. It is
And
amazing.
I know that you are doing an amazing job to support the artists. So I am really very happy that you wanted to take this project on your shoulders, because it's many hours are in this book.
Well,
Yeah.
to tell you, it was a pure pleasure, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I just loved every minute of it, and to be able to project that love that you have and that
Yes.
passion that you have for your art dolls. It was really a lot of fun, actually, but I was amazed at the amount of art that you have put
Yeah.
out. I think
Yeah.
you've lived 10 lifetimes in your one lifetime. It's incredible.
Yeah, I could dive into a doll in making a new doll. And it filled my mind and my imagination, my fantasy. It filled my life because it's really a passion. Sometimes I say to students who are joining my class for the first time, your life will probably change when you feel this really as a passion. Then you never will have a dull moment anymore, and especially because so much aspects of creativity are going in a doll. It's the sculpting, it's making the body, and especially the costuming, the painting, and putting that figurine together. It gives you a aha moment. Sometimes students ask me, what do you like most on making the doll? And then I say, the very last minute when the doll is ready and I can say, wow.
Well, that's with all your pieces, Anki, because they are just beautiful. They are just beautiful. We just had some people come on. Laura, let's see.
Hi, Laura.
Thank you for being here. And Giselle, also, she's from Montreal. She's from my
Hi,
neck of the
Giselle.
woods. Yeah, and then we have Susan.
Hi, Susan. Hi.
Thank you for being here, and we appreciate you posting and even asking questions. We'd love to hear those if you have them. And sometimes your name will appear, sometimes it won't. So just kind of put your name right there too, because Facebook is kind of funny that way. Well, Anki, can you tell us a little bit where you started from with your doll career?
Well, I always, as a young child, was looking for something to do in the art, more in the beauty. I loved things that were beautiful, like a ballerina or an opera singer,
Mhm.
or nice, nice dresses for little girls. And I struggled my way through being a school teacher for young children, and then going to study music until I bumped into an exhibition of dolls. And that was unique in Holland. I went there, I went back 3 times, and I was overwhelmed. I felt this is what I wanted to do. This is what I want to be, a doll maker. And everything came together in the dolls that I saw at that moment. And at that time, we had to develop everything ourselves. You only had a piece of paper clay or air dry clay, and that's it. So you had to see how to build an armature, what varnish you could use, what paint, what everything you had to invent yourself. And I remember that as a young child, that we came from a very modest family. We were not rich, and we had to make my mother made everything herself. And the joy that it gave you to make something yourself was so great. It is so fulfilling that I hope that young people are able to put their cell phones aside and try to create something that comes from their own identity and not from a world that is already made for them, but that they are able to create something out of their soul. And they will experience so much joy because since the first doll I made, I was filled with love for dolls, for doll making.
Well, that's really a great advice, Anki. It really is joyful to create something with your hands and then see it all the way to the end. I
Yeah,
know for myself, I love working with many different mediums, and it drives me to finish it because I want to also, like
Yes,
you, I want to
yes,
have that wow factor at the
yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, you also did porcelain. I think you started in
Yes.
porcelain first, and then you went into paper clay.
No, I first had air dry clay. They call that darwi, but it was fragile, and
Mhm.
especially the hands. And when I started to travel with the dolls to go to exhibitions, then I discovered mold making and this porcelain slip. And for about 10 years, I made porcelain dolls. Finally, I had the help of a fantastic mold maker because for me, it took too much time to make the molds.
Mhm.
And that time, I wanted to use to create the doll and not only do the technical part of it. So
Right.
after a few years, I had a fantastic mold maker. And when we moved to Spain, Spain in that time was not having a very strong electricity system. So I was afraid that the kilns would not bake very well. And then I discovered the creative paper clay. And that is a Japanese air dry clay, which is so strong and so smooth that when you process that, when you finish that in a good way, it looks like porcelain, and you don't you every time when you start over, you can create a complete new figurine.
Mhm.
So I think I after 10 years porcelain, then I use paper clay now about 15 or 20 years. I would love to do, I still have my molds,
Yeah.
but yeah, I still have my molds, but I have to purchase a kiln, and I did not do that yet. So
Well, Anki, I own one of your porcelain dolls. In
you
fact,
do.
yes, I do. I do. I have this little
Oh,
guy.
yes, he's my jester.
I just love him, and every time I see him, I always think about you. And I'm right now. He's in Montreal, and I'm going to be moving him to Florida shortly, hopefully in the next
Yeah,
couple of months. But he's beautiful, and he's
thank
just as
you.
beautiful when I first bought him, and it was a long time ago. It was when you
It's a
were
no,
at
yeah.
IDEX, I think. Yeah,
Yes,
that's where I
IDEX.
bought him.
Yes,
I bought
IDEX.
him
Yes.
there. Yeah.
I miss those conventions.
Yes.
They
Well,
were fantastic. But
I
life took, and life takes away, and you have to invent something new
yes,
instead of what's, yeah.
and
But
sometimes better, but sometimes not.
yeah,
So
well,
we
I
just have to
think we
roll
have
with
been very, very lucky that we have been able to do all these beautiful shows.
it.
I
Yes.
also loved the shows in Santa Fe and San Francisco and Orlando and all the people we met, and
Yeah.
it was lovely. Yeah,
Yes. It was a great way to connect with other people that love, you
a
know,
great way. Yeah,
yeah, the love for doll making.
yeah,
Um, and then from there, once you finished up with porcelain, you moved right into paper clay.
yes, yeah. And what I like is that I like to create different bodies that also for my collectors, that every new doll was completely different from the doll I made, the last doll I made, because when you constantly use the same uh, uh, position or the same movement in your doll, so I loved to work with different body shapes and make that there's a surprise in every doll.
Right.
Every doll needs to tell you something else.
Right. Elena said that all your dolls are gorgeous.
Thank you, Elena. Hello.
And Veronica's mentioning We Folk. We remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's amazing how all these shows have kind of gone by, but there's other shows that come up, and also um, like you had mentioned, online has created another avenue for us
Yeah.
to gather and to meet other artists, and
Yes.
hopefully at one point meet live,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I was so happy to host so many students during my doll making holiday classes in Spain.
Hmm.
And we always had great time, and they came from all over the world. And it's so nice to see on Facebook that these people, they stay connected.
Yes.
And because, yeah, 8 different people step in the classroom, and after 8 days, they are friends forever. And that is what the dolls make it do for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, what really stands out on all of your pieces, not only the expression on the dolls, but it's the costuming, Anki. And I'm sure you get this question asked all the time. Where do you get these ideas and where do you buy this? And I remember seeing on this ebook I was reading that you visualize everything through dolls' eyes.
Yes, yes, I always look for with doll eyes. I
Yes.
go to flea markets, I go to thrift stores, I
Mhm.
buy crazy dresses because when you can buy in a beautiful fabric store, you can buy a yard of beautiful fabric, but you have a
Yes.
straight piece. When you go to thrift stores or the better vintage stores and you buy an evening dress, it has pleats in a different way. It has decorations on it in a different way, and you can use these, and your costume gets a little bit more extraordinary
Mhm.
than just cutting from a plain piece of fabric.
Right.
So, and I like to use all kinds of embellishments. Also, I like wire. I like wire flowers. I like materials that you can curl, that you can bend, that you can the top side of shoes. I cut them off, and so, well, maybe there will be a live costuming class in the future that
Mhm.
where I can show you where I take those stuff, what I do with it, and how I cut it apart. And yeah,
Well,
it's a
it
challenge.
it's
And
great.
still, yeah, I still want the costume to be quiet,
Right.
because when when you look to the doll in the first time, you see yeah, all the materials united. Do I say that well in
Right,
the
right.
costume?
Yeah.
And then you come closer and you say, "Oh, wait a moment! Look what's there, and there's more, and there is more. Wow, there's a lot on this doll." Because I want to put it together that
Mhm.
it gives you that it is quiet for the eye and
Mhm.
warm for the soul.
Well, that is so true, Anki. I know when you sent me all those millions of pictures, I kept looking at it. I said, "I don't have time to look at these right now." So I was just doing the graphics and putting all the layouts and stuff on them. But then when I finally finished everything, I took time, went and had a cup of coffee, sat down and looked at the ebook, and I went, oh my gosh. And I'd have to enlarge it so I could see some of those
Yeah,
little, I call them
detail.
surprises within your costumes.
Yeah,
And the other part that I liked, Anki, is that they're whimsical. Like you have one walking with a giraffe
yeah,
or walking with a pig or
yeah,
walking with a creature. I don't know. It was just different things. And the headdresses were really interesting too, the
yeah,
hair. So I really sat down and studied every picture. Well, most of them.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah,
Anki.
Adele, and it's true, when I go to a flea market, I never have the feeling I have to hurry,
No.
because people who came before me don't buy what I buy.
Yeah.
They don't like the trash. I like the trash.
Yeah.
Sometimes I shopped in the trash cans.
And where?
Yeah, in the trash cans.
In the
Because
trash
all the
cans.
time that you put your trash can out on the street, now you have all these containers, and people put the most funny things next to the trash can. So in the evening, I said to Dick, "Okay, let's go shopping, and we have to see what the trash can is offering us."
Oh, that's funny. But you know what, Anki, it just adds to the whole
Yeah,
experience of
yeah,
creating your pieces. And also, you also put I see the expressions that you do on your paper clay. I don't know if it has to do with the time of your life. I mean, some of them they're all different. and they all have different expressions. How do you feel? How does that work for you? Like, for instance, today you're really happy, tomorrow you're not so happy. Do you find that you have a difference in the expressions of your dolls?
Maybe in the first period that I created dolls, I went through a rough period in my life. Who did not? I mean, many of us did. And I loved very sad dolls.
Mm,
But when later when I start to start sculpting, then the sadness disappears because there's so much joy in it.
yes.
And and a good advice is when you always make the same face, then you should change your base form. Because when your the front of your face is a little bit rounded and you
Mhm,
start working on it, make it more rounded, then your face comes a little bit more to the forward, to the front, and you
mhm,
have a different face. So always try to play with your clay, that you do not make it a trick, that you put the same amounts of clay every time on this on your the way you are sculpting.
mhm.
So change those things, and then yeah, I have so many ideas in my head that I have not enough time
Yes,
to
yes.
make everything I like.
But do you find that doll making, well, arts in general, is very therapeutic? Uh,
Yes,
it helps you get over rough times.
yeah,
Uh, it brings you so much joy.
so much joy and so much energy. We
Yes,
had quite a busy time because we moved from Spain to Holland.
yes.
And behind me, you see, I just finished putting all the stuff in my new studio here. So you are all welcome to visit my studio. But yesterday we took a day off and we drove to Brussels, which is only 1.5 hours from where we live. And we went into the areas where you had the vintage stores, and then I feel that the energy really sparkles in me. Then after being busy so with all the unpacking and getting your house ready, you feel a completely different energy when you can enjoy art. That
Yeah,
is really true.
yeah.
Art is medicine for the soul. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I know this is the ebook that we did on this project, but this is not your first book. You have done other books.
Yes.
Uh, can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes. Well, my one of my first teachers was Niche Wolters van Bemmel. I went to a course that she gave. She was the founder of the Dutch doll making start.
Mhm.
People were in line for her. She had a beautiful house and a studio, and she created a completely new world. Unfortunately, she died a few years ago. Her daughter, Suzanne Wolters, is still putting up lovely conventions where you can go in Antwerp, in Brussels, in Bruges, in Amsterdam, in places in Holland, very special places to go to. And I lost the question. What was the question?
Well, we were talking about the books that you created before
And
this.
and then yeah, and then they were also publishers.
Uh-huh.
They published my first book.
Oh,
And
okay.
in that book, they published about 50 from different artists. But
Okay.
I was lucky to be the first book, Fantastic Figurines.
Nice.
And I published two books with them and one on costuming.
Right.
But yeah, that's 45 years ago.
Yeah. And then you had this one.
Yes.
Yes,
My
making
yeah,
beautiful
it is
dolls.
just it's a good book when you start
Yep.
uh, with good ideas for the sculpting, good pictures, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and it's still available, and it's great
still
because we
yeah,
were able to convert it to an ebook because
yeah,
as many may not know, printing right now is, and it's not going to get any
Yeah,
better, is terribly, terribly expensive.
yeah,
Doing the books in ebook makes it affordable for
yeah.
everyone to enjoy what you have to offer, and that's exciting. And this is this ebook here that we'll be releasing tomorrow, and we can't wait.
Yoo-hoo!
It's 280 pages of pure magic.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. You
beautiful.
can sit down, relax, have a coffee, a wine, a beer,
Yeah, whatever.
chocolate.
Well, it's really incredible, and I like the fact that you also included your students from, well, Australia, Spain. There was California. There was several classes that groups of people in this ebook.
Lovely, lovely,
That,
lovely. Yeah,
oh, they're going to be so excited
yeah,
to see
yeah.
that they're in there.
Yes.
And also, I know that many people, and some may not know, that you also had the Dutch touch with Marlena.
Yes, we did. We did the Dutch touch 19 years.
Amazing, really
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
We started with twice a year,
Hmm.
and then I think after 15 years, it dropped to once a year because uh, the money crisis when the
Yes.
banks that was a kind of how do you say that a change in the world.
Right.
People got more careful about traveling and spending money on things, and so there was a little bit a change. And then because we already did that many, it's nice. There is a very lovely video on YouTube. It's called The New Dutch Touch.
Okay.
Very nice to see.
Yeah.
And we created a new doll for the Dutch Touch. But
Hmm.
we had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful, wonderful time together.
Well, that
We
was,
traveled through all the we've seen more from the States than many people who live in there.
yeah, yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
traveled everywhere,
we
and
traveled everywhere.
it was very popular, and it's also amazing how you the friendship also
Yes,
grew
yes.
through the Dutch touch, and
Perfect.
and it was because I took it when you were in Houston. I took it. I
Yeah,
think that was probably, oof,
yeah,
I don't know how long ago that was.
yeah. We
uh,
always had a great time. Always. Yeah.
yes, we had a great time. I remember we just
And we
we
worked
just
hard. We worked hard. It was not that
yes,
we
yes,
just
yes.
were chatting and sitting down. And no, we worked very hard for everybody to go home with a beautiful Dutch
I
touch food.
know, I know. And you
Yeah.
made it fun, which is nice. And Laura said here that's how she met you, through the
Yes,
Dutch
Laura.
touch.
Hi. I'm going to see Laura within 3, 4 weeks in Rome. We are having a class in Rome.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
see you
Aren't
soon,
you
Laura.
how exciting.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. And you make every class just extra special, Anki. And I know you love
Oh,
your students, and they
yeah.
love you. And it's you have touched the world with your dolls.
Thank
I
you.
know that you've also had a trip to Japan. Didn't you go to
Yes,
Japan one time? Yes, you
we
see.
went to Japan. Yeah.
So when you start looking about all the places that you've been and all the people that you have met,
Amazing. Yeah.
really,
Amazing. Really.
really incredible, really incredible. And
Incredible. I'm
this,
very grateful for that. And I also have to say thank you to my husband
yes,
because when I met my husband after my first marriage, I lived alone for about 8 years and then I met Dick. And he was the person who supported me always. And
nice.
he gave me the space and the possibilities to grow as an artist. So he definitely deserves a great thank you.
Yes. Well, that's good because I think that when we have our spouses that support what we love to do, our passion
Yeah,
is truly important because that allows us to really spread our wings and
yeah,
to, uh,
very special.
you know,
Yeah,
the thing about artists, it's in your blood.
yeah, it's in your blood. It's
You
in
can't
your
get rid of
blood.
it.
Yeah, when we moved from Spain, we started with that move a year ago. I had a big studio there, and then I thought, well, we have to buy a house where I have space for a studio
Right.
because I cannot imagine not to live with my studio, my dolls, meeting people here and creating classes and creating my dolls, and I it's very important, very
Yeah.
important for me.
I know when well, you've been here, Anki, you know that I have
Yes,
a big studio as well. And
wonderful.
um, the most enjoyable part of this whole house is the studio.
Yes,
In fact, when we
yeah,
have people that come, they want to come sit in the studio. They don't want to go sit in the kitchen.
yeah, no, no,
This
no,
becomes the
people,
gathering
yeah,
place.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's lovely. Yeah,
Yes. Well,
lovely.
go
And
ahead.
you also have been a wonderful, wonderful help. I think we already worked together more than 20 years.
Yes.
The
Yes.
first times I only sent you some pictures and an email, and you created a class out of it. And
Right.
slowly on, I developed to be a little bit better, and slowly we developed. So we have a long time relationship.
Yes, we do, and I'm very grateful for that, Anki, because I truly, truly love helping artists, and most of the people that I am in communication with, we just recently sold our business that we've had for 50 years,
Wow.
and I was the sales and marketing director there, and now I'm wanting to expand to help artists. Be more visible on social media or whatever. But anyway, more of that information to come later. But I am
Well,
so
Adele, I think people will be amazed about what you did with this book.
oh
So
yeah.
I'm almost sure you will get more requests.
Well, thank you, Anki. And I appreciate that you have allowed me to step into your world and to put it out there for everybody to see the magic that you have created all of these years. And I saw pieces that I have never seen before. I went, where was this? I've never seen this piece
No,
before.
that is why the idea grew in me when I was looking into old. I have about 40 albums with pictures when we only had photos, and I thought,
Yes,
wow, this is all in boxes and stored and uh, folders in my computer. So how lovely would it be when we put it in a nice book? So it gives you also inspiration
yes.
and, well, fun, dull fun.
Yes. Well, I thought the way we put the book together was it was nice because when we were in the paper clay area, we talked about dolls with animals, the half dolls and the boy dolls and the girl dolls and the mermaids. So everything is in a category, which is kind of fun to see uh,
Yes.
the different versions of mermaids and the different versions of the jesters. I mean, that was it's really interesting, really interesting.
I hope many people will go enjoy the book.
Yeah, I hope so too.
That's what we did it for.
Yeah, well, I know for sure we enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it,
we
definitely. Yeah.
we had a fun time, and I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow, May 1st, we'll be releasing the links so you can order the book. And what we want to let everyone know that Anki wanted to make sure that everybody had the opportunity to purchase the book. So we decided to do an introductory limited edition for 30 days. So it's going to open up May 1st, and the special price will run until the 31st, and it's $39. You would get the PDFs and also a flip book, which is kind of neat because the pages turn, and it's just a lot of fun for you to sit there and look at it and go back and forth on the pages. And also, there's a lot of information about Anki. There's some write-ups in some of the areas, so you can know a little bit about her as well.
Thank you.
So, Anki, anything else? Any words of wisdom you want to leave us with?
Never stop making dolls.
No. We never want to stop making dolls. Well, before we go, why don't you tell us what are your future plans?
My future plans are, I hope to be able to welcome new students here in my studio,
Hmm.
also in the private classes or doll making classes, doll making holiday classes. And I want to keep on going, creating my own work. For 1 year, I was not able to make new dolls, but already new ideas are coming into my mind. And so it will not take a long time. And then my package of clay is on the table again, and you can see new dolls appearing.
That's exciting. That's exciting. But you're now permanently in the Netherlands, correct?
Permanently.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you have your studio set up where
Yeah.
people can come. They can take private lessons too, right,
Yes.
Aki?
Everybody can take lessons here. Yeah.
Okay, and you take
You can come over. We have very nice bed and breakfast here around the corner. You can come with a friend. You can come with a group.
mhm.
There are interesting places here to go, and we live close to the most exciting cities. And so, yeah, you can you're welcome.
Oh, that's
The dolly door is open.
well, they just have to reach out and let you know. For those that are watching us, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them. We will be here a few more minutes, and then we will be leaving you. But there will be more artist to artist interviews in the near future, and these interviews are to keep you inspired to continue growing in your artistic journey. And this is just the beginning. So,
And never think you are not able to make a doll. I can tell you, you are able to make a beautiful doll.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, with you saying that, I remember we had a couple of students when you did the workshops here at my studio that had never touched clay.
Yeah.
And they were amazed that they were able to sculpt a head,
Mhm.
do the costuming, the painting. And, but that's a tribute to you, Anki, because
Mm.
you are a very patient and very good teacher.
Thank you.
You
I hope.
are. And I'm not just saying that because we're friends. I truly
I
mean
hope
that.
so. I do my best. I
Yes,
try to step in the student, and that what do you want to hear when somebody is teaching you? You need to be able to process the knowledge
right.
that the teacher is telling you. And when you understand it, then you can do it.
Yes. That's true. And I think also not only do you give them the tools to be able to do this, but you also give them the proper information on the supplies
Yeah.
because a lot of people want to achieve that, but they're not using the proper supplies or the proper tools.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing I see about your classes. You're always so open to give them that information
Yeah.
for them to be successful.
Yeah. You need to
After
give.
they do the workshop.
Yeah. I next week on Saturday I go to Mount Vernon again.
Okay.
I I think I've been there 14 years already.
Wow.
Well, the students come back in the studio in Gwen Jackson's and Dora Sutton's house.
Uh-huh.
We have a lovely four-story house. They have a beautiful studio downstairs. Upstairs, they have guest rooms for the students, and we always have a great time.
Yeah.
So next Saturday, I will be going there again, and we are going to have fun.
Of course, that's what it's all about. That's
Yeah,
what,
that's
in
what it's
fact,
all about.
pardon?
That's what I always say to the students. The most important is that we enjoy it, that we have fun,
Right.
and then we are going to try to achieve the best we can. But the fun of making this doll That is very important.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so too. Well, I know that everybody leaves with smiles on their faces after they take their workshop with you, and they have a lot of information to make another piece. But the best thing is that they have a finished piece. Most of the time,
Yes.
they walk out of here with a finished piece, which is
Finished
great.
piece. First, that's necessary. Finished piece. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And
Yeah.
generally, the classes are 3 or 4 days, Anki. I don't
4 or 5.
4 or
It
5.
depends on what the students want. I can always do 5, but
Mhm.
some are still working or have no possibility to come 5 days.
Right.
So, but we can do the doll in 4 days. But if they want to slow down a little bit, we
Mhm.
do 5 days. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, Anki, it's been just a pleasure working on the project. It's been tons of fun of having you on this interview, and just always delightful to see you and to see that now you are settled in your new
Yeah.
studio, and
Yeah.
all of that's behind you.
Yeah. Stuff.
Oh, I know. Combining studios, I'm going to have the same situation where I've got
Yeah.
to bring 2 studios together into one. But you know what? We discover new things, right? That we've
Of
been
course.
looking for.
Always.
That's
Yes.
the fun
New
part.
flea markets, new thrift stores. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
That's a challenge
absolutely.
in every city.
So again, this is sorry. We will be talking more about Anki's ebook, and remember that the release is tomorrow, and those pages will be opening up for you to order. Let me see. I think we've got a question here. Thank you so much for this, Adele. I met you in person, Kansas City. Thank you, Adele. See you soon. That was wonderful. Oh, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. It really helps to support these interviews. They are recorded, and you can go back and look at them, which is great. And if you have any questions, you can always post your questions, and either Anki or myself will answer them. So again, thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you, and we will be talking to you soon.